Hey guys, Sam Moses here with another Red Dead Redemption 2 journal entry thing. I think this is my third one. We're going to be doing another topic discussion, and today's topic is actually going to be revolving around storytelling in Red Dead Redemption. Specifically asking what Rockstar does to elevate the narrative through game design, and also how Rockstar puts the player in Arthur's shoes. So why are we so attached? This is going to be pretty spoiler heavy, so if you haven't finished the game at least to completion, or at least until finished up chapter 6, I would walk away. Turn the video off, watch something else, or go play the game. Actually, no, just go play the game. You'll like it a lot more that way. So yeah, let's get started. I'm currently in Saint Denis, which is one of the busier parts of town. But I love Saint Denis in terms of what it represents in the game, story-wise. I think it does a really great job of, and this is just a small thing, small little tangent. The open world feels really open and freeing and quiet, and through sound design, all the NPCs, the druggy messiness of it all, you really do feel like it's constricting to you as a player, and Arthur hates it here. You kind of start hating it here too. You can't gallop very fast without people getting hit and run over, and them calling the authorities on you and so on. So it's fantastic. But before we get into stories, I'm gonna just talk about my overall impressions of the story. I'll be upfront and say that I personally think this is probably the best narrative in games, period. I haven't really... Last of Us came close, but that was, again, a very short, concise, and linear experience. But I think Rockstar achieved that level of emotional involvement in an open world title, which I think is remarkable. It's a true achievement, in my opinion, just like a lot of other things in this title. So I adore it. I think it's fantastic. I'm a film major, so this game really scratches a lot of itches when it comes to storytelling that I adore. And so that's it. That's my thoughts on it. I love the story. So let's get into the meat of it, or my general thoughts on it. That was my general thoughts on it. But yeah, so first thing I want to talk about is one of my favorite details that they really do. As you play again, Arthur Morgan, Rockstar gives you something called the journal. So you have Arthur's journal. So if you hold left on the D-pad, you can open up your journal. You can read his thoughts on certain events in the game. And again, you go through these story missions, you meet people, you look at animals, you draw pictures, you can read about it and get his thoughts and perspective on situations. You get to see what he's thinking. And again, this is going back to my last video. This is diegetically represented. You have like thumbprints it's just insane. You have little thumbprints, smudges, and cute little drawings and scribbles, and it feels so real. You feel like you could actually pick this up. It feels like an actual journal, and you just get a good sense of who Arthur Morgan is. Or a better sense. And I truly think Arthur Morgan is one of the most nuanced and most depthful characters that's ever graced the video game screen. Purely for the amount of time that you spend with the guy. And the amount of opportunities you get to see, the amount of opportunities you have to see the different sides of him, and also the amount of opportunities you have to define him. So I love that. I love the journal, and it gets really implemented well. Later on in the title. This is spoilers again. I'm just gonna say, if you haven't finished the game, just walk away. When you play John Marston, you get Arthur's journal, and he actually starts writing his own thoughts, and it's a completely different set of writings, and his drawings are completely different. They're noticeably worse, actually, but he tries, and it's just another way of contrasting character, and a really great way to explore character. It's fantastic. Heads up, I am playing without a HUD on at the moment. Well, actually, I'm gonna start heading to camp. I am playing without a HUD because this is gonna be a little bit more a quieter, more less gameplay focused session of Red Dead. But yeah. So along with that, let's see if I can get to camp soon. So Arthur Morgan, who I think he just won the performance Arthur Clarke, the actor of Arthur Morgan. He just won Best Performance at the Video Game Awards last night, which I think he absolutely deserves. He's phenomenal in this title, along with the writing. It's just top notch. Sweet. So actually, we're gonna get to camp. So my next point I want to talk about is this is shortly after you get back from the island of Guarma after the bank heist goes wrong. While in Guarma, you get certain things pay off. You have a weight system finally that shows off. So the weight system and the hair system. So I don't think I've talked about actually the facial and hair growth system in the game quite yet. So as the game time progresses, unlike a lot of other open world titles, to cut and change your hair, it actually has to grow out slowly over time. It's not like other GTAs where you can go into a barber shop and then you can magically grow or delete or retrim hair like it's nothing. No, in Red Dead Redemption 2, it takes time to grow out your facial hair. It takes time to grow out your hair, and so it's like it's a lot of patience is needed for it. And so when you get to Guarma, Arthur's hair, and unfortunately I didn't leave a save point at Guarma, it's way far back. But Arthur, while you're in Guarma, he gets noticeably thinner. His hair starts growing out, and eventually your idea of your Arthur Morgan starts looking very different, a lot more disheveled than you'd want him to be, and you really feel him weak and on the brink of death the whole time when you're out there. You feel like you're in a bad spot. And it's just a great payoff for the system that seems a bit not out of place, but it's a lot for a title for an open world title like this. Rockstar's never really gone down that route of survival aspects, but they totally did in this. So yeah, let's see. So let's get to camp. This is actually a perfect opportunity to talk about camp. So camp. So throughout the game, I think you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different camps throughout the title. And the camp is a great signal of how the gang is doing emotionally, and also just the state of things in general. So right now, this is after everything's really going to shit. Each camp you get is progressively more and more shitty, really representing how crappy things are. But camp, especially at the start, is this really relaxing place. You show up, people have their lives, you can talk and have conversations, play poker, eat some food, drink your coffee in the morning, take some rest, shave if you need to, listen to stories again, and do quests with missions with other people, watch people do chores. You can even do chores. Just a relaxing place. And people will acknowledge you.
See you again, Uncle. So, Molly ain't around?
No, not for a while now. You boys sure returned with a bang.
So it's interesting, at the beginning of camp, you have Pearson, who's the town cook. You can bring corpses to him, and you can, animal corpses, I mean, and you can, people will get food, and people will be happier, and you can get ammo, medicine, food. You can fast travel from camp, all these great things at the start, and you do have to contribute, and people will talk to you to contribute, and that's all at the start. But then after a certain point, that gets kind of taken away. And as the game progresses, you get more and more liberties of the camp, and all these benefits of going to camp are slowly stripped away from you. And I think it's wonderful. I love it. As a narrative point, it sucks. Like, it sucks a lot. You as Arthur feel like camp is becoming less and less useful and more of a chore. You don't like going there, and Arthur doesn't like going there, and you as a player don't like going there because it just isn't the same. And it's a great way to really emphasize that. And every time you go to camp, people get worse and worse. You can watch people have conversation. At the start, people are happy, having fun. You can sometimes have little parties. And then once you get, especially at this point, people aren't having fun. They're sour. People start drinking more. They get in more fights. It's just a dour, depressing mood. It becomes less organized. It's just tents aren't everywhere. Everyone's sleeping in the same kind of area after a period of time. It's really, really well done, in my opinion. I think it's phenomenal. There's another thing that happens that really just emphasizes the feeling of hopelessness. After you get back from Guarma, Arthur Morgan is revealed to be diagnosed with tuberculosis. Now, the thing about tuberculosis is
Morning, Arthur.
you can see him. You can see Arthur Morgan. He's significantly paler. He has bloodshot eyes, and actually dark. It's clearly he looks exhausted all the time. It's harder to gain weight. He's noticeably thinner after this point, and it sucks. In the story, it sucks. I literally yelled no when it was revealed that that was the case. It really sucks. But then Rockstar, I think I have to commend them a lot. A lot of titles and a lot of games, especially action RPGs, such as this one, have I think a power curve where as the game goes on, you get more and more powerful as a character. And narratively, sometimes that doesn't make a lot of sense. So you'll be struggling at the end of the story, but really you're just like ultimate badass with all the weapon loadouts, all the skill trees upgraded, all that kind of good stuff. Rockstar does something a little bit different. They make that the opposite. So Arthur slowly gets weaker and weaker. You get thinner, and that means that you're gonna have less health. I mean, you have more stamina, which I think is kind of odd. They didn't really affect the stamina system. I wish that they went full in on it, but I can understand why they didn't. You get thinner. One of the biggest drawbacks about it is that food starts having diminishing returns. Oh.
There we go. Hey, Claire, we got a dangerous foreigner here.
Oh, por favor, necesito ayuda.
So I will actually talk about this. This is a perfect moment to explain how the game lets you kind of choose.
Hey, shoot the lock.
Oop.
Sí, muy
There we go.
bien.
Oh shit, that guy is after me.
Muchas gracias. Thank
So I'm gonna go stop this witness real quick while I keep talking though. So that was an example of one of those random events. When the game starts out,
Wait, this is a misunderstanding. Stop, or you're dead. You got a death wish on the back. Ain't so full of yourself.
uh-oh. Oh man, I've gotten myself in trouble. I'm just gonna have to get out of here. So, certain opportunities in the world and missions and so on will give you a chance to really define what kind of person your Arthur is. So I chose to engage in that little side activity to free that Mexican woman who was being unfairly taken maybe away from the Federales, which I'm not a fan of, as we all know. As an outlaw, I'm just not a fan of them. Oh, come on, get out of here. And so at the start of the title, I was a bandit. I was on the low side, and there is that honor system I think we've talked about before. There is that honor system in the bottom. If you remember last time, it was more in the center, but as you can tell, it's slowly creeping to the right side. And as it slowly creeps, you get these opportunities to do good or make choices in the story that is more honorable or dishonorable. When I first started playing Red Dead Redemption 2, I interpreted Arthur as this character who was an outlaw in the purest sense. He didn't take shit from people. He was always the one to shoot first. He was overall a degenerate asshole. Like the very first mission, or really the very first choices I had in the title, it was a guy that recognized you and he ran off, but almost got himself killed off a cliff. Hanging off the cliff, you have the option to pull him up or step on his fingers and let him fall to his death. At that time, I'm like, oh, Arthur seems like the guy that would step on his fingers. Murder the dude, why not? But then I found myself, especially my first playthrough, the first half, it was actually towards the red. I was actually a dishonorable cowboy. But towards the end, I became almost full good. I had a legitimate character arc in the title, naturally. I started doing more good as the game went on, and I think the mixture of tuberculosis and also the camp going to shit and also just certain opportunities that present themselves really lets you go away with lets you not do go away but really lets you explore and reinterpret who Arthur is, and you have this like conflict of character that I think Arthur himself deals with. And I think again that journal really helps you start to really understand the guy, and that's just one of the few reasons why this game is on another level in my opinion. So yeah, you have constant choices in the game, in the narrative. Nothing crazy. It's not like branching dialogue trees or dialogue or story paths like in BioWare, but there are multiple endings. They're more in line of just like more reflective of how you play. So like I know there's the reoccurring stag deer symbolism if you're a good guy, but then there's also the reoccurring oh, looks like we have a guy who's a real son of a bitch. Later, bud.
Money, tough guy. Oh my God. Hold still.
I'll shoot you dead before you know it.
So like stuff like this, random events in the world sometimes will provide.
I'm gonna do to you when I get free.
Oh, looks like we're doing some lightning. Oh, that's so cool.
Yep.
I'll just leave him there. What was I saying? I was talking about something important.
Been a pleasure.
But yeah, just choices let you define who Arthur is, and I know the story changes, like small bits of dialogue will change depending on your honor, and just really the game does a really good job of molding the story around your choices. It's a true role-playing game in that sense. It really asks you to interpret and live as Arthur Morgan, and it's not like Bethesda Skyrim or the New Vegas games, not New Vegas, Fallout games. You truly have to try to play this character, much like The Witcher, actually. So yeah, it's wonderful. The story is truly something to experience. It's something you need to experience. A true experience that I think only games can really offer. It's a big reason why I cried at the end, because by the end of it, I felt like I was Arthur. I could totally identify with him. And that's something that I don't think a lot of games can really achieve, especially when you're playing it like this. So, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. Let's see. There is one thing actually I do want to discuss real quick is the antagonize and greet system. I haven't talked about this actually a whole lot in my previous videos, but there is something called the antagonize and greet. Oh, actually I haven't seen this, but people are building a railroad. Oh, I love this. This game, every time I'm playing it, something new. There's something new I explore. But you have the opportunity. You just have to hold L2 on any NPC in the game. I am stuck on this. Okay. Oh no, horse. That was rough. That was really rough. Are you okay, bud? Yeah, you're okay. So you can hit L2 to greet. You can hit L2 to square to greet, or L2 and circle to antagonize. Greet, you're just like kind of friendly hello, or square is usually the good option. The less the diffuse and less antagonistic one, obviously, and then the antagonized one usually leads to some violence. If you antagonize certain people, they'll either get afraid or they'll fight back. It's usually how it goes. And again, just another opportunity. Really lets you define who Arthur Morgan is. So yeah, it's fantastic. What is that? Somebody is screaming. I will deal with this. I don't know who you are, but we can see this. This is a mission I've never seen before. Hold on.
You okay?
Hell,
You sick, partner?
it's in me. They're in me.
You're not well, friend.
Butcher's Creek. Butcher's Creek.
Where?
Butcher's Creek.
Is that where you're from?
Got a black eye from when I fell.
Butcher's Creek.
You want me to take you back, or...
They're in me.
Come on, let me get you home.
Butcher's Creek.
I've never seen this mission before. I swear I see more new stuff when I'm doing these little gameplays than when I'm actually playing. So I think I will leave it here. And it's been overall, this guy's fallen over. I'm gonna leave it here. This is a shorter video for sure. But yeah, thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next one, and yeah, thanks.